Coming tonight, and it's good to see you. I'm sort of like Kenny, I do have a few things to talk about. Last month we were talking about our fund balance, and you saw what was going on, and obviously you've been reading the paper and you see that our fund balance has been growing over the last 3 years, and prior to that it did take a little dip, but prior to that there was a reason that it did. I was reluctant last month, comments, because obviously I'm concerned about revenue streams too, but even then, it didn't seem quite right, and I had a discussion with Colleen, kind of enlightened her about a few things, and I think we come to an agreement that what we're talking about would not impact county revenue streams whatsoever. What happens is Internal Revenue Service, anytime you have a capital asset, they tell you how many years that you can depreciate that asset. Now, you depreciate assets regardless of whether you pay cash for them or you pay for them on time. That current building, and you have different year schedules depending on the MAC system and where you fits into. They put buildings in 27, 39 years. That building's 39 years, at least. Right, Colin? So that expense line will actually show up on the expense for 39 years. Regardless of whether you pay for it in 5, 10, 15. So it has no impact whatsoever. So now we go back to looking at the numbers of how much money that we can save you, the taxpayers. So there's only 2 ways to go about this. I'm not going to continually step behind here and be aware of what is happening to the tax dollars as they continue to move up. And as you saw the fund balance grow. It's your tax dollars. So if I'm got them, I'm going to do something with them, positive. And you saw the chart there, $500,000 saves almost $700,000. Mr. Bazemore came up with another thing to put in the amortization schedule. Over $1 million saved by refinancing. The ones I was presenting, you did not have to refinance. You didn't have to do anything but make the payments. Kenny even alluded to the fact that he made extra payments on the mortgages he was paying those. I did likewise. It's a smart business. I'm about saving money. And it's a good thing to do. You got to remember, the tax rate is still where it is, and we'll continue to grow if we continue to monitor our expenses. And Toby has done a good job on that. He's held people pretty tight. But we've done some very unwise things on the other side of the spectrum. Extremely unwise. And it's time to do something about it. So if we continue with 64-cent tax rate, we need to start doing something with that money to help you, the citizen. Just like Mr. Bazemore was talking about our courthouse project prior to this meeting here. If you don't do something, you, the taxpayer, had to step to the plate. Well, you had to be conservative. You had to save money. And this is the way you do it. You want to improve your debt to equity ratio. Corporate America does that all the time. If you had a person that had $10 million and he had $7 million or $9 million worth of debt, his net worth is $1 million. And you have another guy that came to you that had $1 million and 0 debt, which one of those people would you trust the most? Would you trust the guy that's got $10 million in his pocket and knows that? Or would you trust the guy that's got $1 million and don't owe anybody?
Yeah.
Who would you trust?
The $1 million.
I'll tell you who I would.
Yep.
So, when did you say you're going to have, Sandy's going to finish that? All right. Well, I'm looking at $500,000 to save $700,000. And if we go to right what Mr. Bazemore said, and we try to do that, then we can save $1 million. $1 million is important to me, and I hope it's important to you.
Yes, it is.
And so, this is my game. I know this game. I've played it many times. I also know about NAFTA. And I know what the North American Free Trade Agreement was about. The problem that happened with NAFTA, and it's a good thing, free trading. But the problem is the people in Washington D.C. are not protecting the American worker. They allow manufacturing plants across this country with Sarbanes-Oxley. I'm a mechanic. I know about that one. In international paper, we had to hire 16,000 people just to fulfill that regulation because Enron was a bad deal. And you think these people were making $10 an hour? No, they weren't. That's what we had to do. EPA regulations, just ungodly regulations that we have across this country. And the problem is this, and that's a good thing. They are good things, all of them are. But the problem is, we let the guy in China, South America, go produce the same products. And he don't have all those regulations, and guess what he does?
Yep.
He can bring them on your shore and sell them less than you can. And it's not about the labor. People think it's about the labor, but it's not. It's because of the bureaucracy that our government puts upon the small businessman and the large one too.
Yep.
If you were a baseball player and you had a manager sitting out there and he told you that he wanted you to hit home runs, he came and gave me a 36-inch bat and he gave Jack a 24-inch bat. Who do you think has the most likelihood of hitting home runs? Anybody want to guess? Me. Well, that's the handicap that we are being placed upon us here in the United States.
That's true.
And it's killing us. And it's because bureaucrats don't understand what's going on with the manufacturing part that we got to have in this country. This country was built off of manufacturing. People couldn't have a job like I had, all of them. You can't have a bunch of guys sitting behind the desk pushing pencils. You got to have people making things. I was smart enough to realize that the people working in the plant were more important than I was because if they weren't there, I wasn't going to be there. And it happened. So that's what we got to do. And it's important of us sitting behind this desk to do something with the revenue stream that we have. And we don't need to do what they did in Chelan County. I'm not advocating that by any means. But I'm not going to keep it in my pocket on this side of the fence and not give you the benefit of it. So that's what this is about. And next month, I'm ready to go. We need to take a proactive approach and save the citizens of this county some money.
Yep. Yep.
To do good things. And we can continue to monitor that. And when we're sitting on $2.6 million of county money, cash that you can spend above the state, and take 500 out of it and put you back to where you were 3 years ago. And that ain't all. We're making money this year too. Now, I don't know, I plot the revenue stream and the expenditure stream. I've been doing that for about 6 years, watching it closely. I've dug into the details. I get those from Sandy and look at them. I look at vendors and who we're spending money with. But it don't come up here and get the invoice. But it's important, extremely important. It's your money, and as I said, I'm not going to spend it any different than I would spend my own, and you can bank it. So I'm looking for proactive things out of you, the citizens, to charge these guys with being smart and wise with your dollars. And I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.